Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Man, who got a treat this week?
What it do? What it do? What it do, man? I'm starting to love your intros, Daniel J. Scott. How you feeling, man? My name is PThePolitician, and this is the Don't Stress Success podcast. Yes.
The Don't Stress Success podcast. I'm Daniel J. Scott. That's PThePolitician. We're here for you guys.
Making it happen, man. Making it happen.
Hey.
My brother, how was your week, man?
Good, man. Good. Been very busy. I'm always busy, man. Always busy. We are together. But I did some painting. Because when we got here the first week, we were excited. Yeah, we're going to do the house and shit. And started painting. And we did a few walls. And then it was like, I'm kind of bored of painting now. We kind of left it. So, been cracking on with some of that stuff. Been re-advertising my coaching services again. I'm back on that shit. Just freeing up some time to make that happen. Good, man. How's things with you?
I've been busy as well, man. Busy seems to be the operative word of the week. Had a really nice show on Friday with the Friday Night Live. Shouts out to Too Slick and shout out to Jim. Let me tell you, man, that show was wild, man. I had an artist by the name of Jim as a guest, man. She whipped out a boob on screen. It was pretty nice, man. Pretty nice, man.
Cool. That's one way to get some traction. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, man.
Sex sells.
Hey,
Sex
certainly does, man. It certainly does, man. So listen, man. Let's go to the crowd real quick and see who all's rocking with us, man. I ain't got it pulled up on my phone yet. Hold on, I'm lacking right now. I'm lacking real bad, man. Let's see.
God damn it.
Shouts out to everybody on YouTube watching us as well.
Yes.
Indeed. So let's see. I see King Pig is in the building. Graham Salcad is in the building. I see 6 other people watching. Y'all go ahead and drop some comments, man. Let's talk about it, man. That's what the show is designed for. You know what I mean? We're here to talk. We talking shit today.
Yes, we are.
Talking shit today.
Hey, shout out Graham, man. Is that Salcals?
Yeah, love from the 306, man. Salcad. I think that's it, man. I think that's what it is. So it's what it is, man. Cedric LeVar Lucas is also in the building, just joining us, man. Appreciate the love. Hemi Naga, shout out from the 504, man. What it do, man? Salute. So this is what we're gonna do, man. I see Joanne Lassiter Bonzi in the building. Hello, sweethearts. This is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna jump into these topics, man, because we got some really dope topics to talk about, I feel, man.
No,
so let's just go ahead and get into it, man. Use of the word N-I-G-G-A. Now, apparently, earlier this week, Kendrick Lamar is on stage, and he pulls up a chick and has her repeat some of the lyrics of his song that actually have they use the word nigga in it. You know what I mean? And so, I got the footage from that, man. I just want to know how y'all feel about that word in general, man, because this right here was kind of a trip to me. So let's jump into it and talk about it real quick.
No doubt. What's people saying? Because I know everybody's here to this shit because it was all over my social media. So don't be quiet, guys. Let us know how you feel.
For real, though.
We sure will.
Let's see.
I told you every time.
Swear I got you.
It was crazy, man. I say that. That was a great way to get
Roads and cliffs, all got along. They probably got me down by the end of the song. Saying like the whole city go against me. Every time I'm in the street, I hear
Waiting for
Wait.
Am I not cool enough for you? What's up, bro?
Why Kendrick set her up like that, man? Why you doing
What's
it?
up?
That's the thing. It's a setup. It's a setup. You know?
Will's just really
Hey, you didn't have
cool,
to
bro.
do
You have to
that.
work.
You gotta bleep one single word though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do it?
Yeah, you did it.
I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
Should she stay up here, y'all?
No, please keep me up here. I got you. I'll try my hardest. I'm used to singing it like you wrote it, bro.
You sure?
I swear.
You got it?
I promise.
That's it.
Sorry about
Rosy
that.
Crips all got along. They probably got me down by the end of the song. Seem like the whole city go against me. Every time I'm in the street, I hear yak, 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 yak.
Where you from? Where you from? All city, one line. This is Mad City, one line. Rick, you gotta shut down memory lane. This is not it.
It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Make some noise for Rohan one time. She almost said it.
Yo, let's jump to the crowd real quick, man. Grab Soundcast says, Daniel, you said it right. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Hemi Naga says, oh, wait, I just read that comment already, man. Okay, he says, did she really drop the N-bomb? What the hell? Joanne Lassiter says, he set her ass up. Hemi Naga said, boo, somebody get her off the stage.
That was a sad man. He's petty for that shit.
Yeah, man.
Petty for that shit. That was easy publicity. That was the easiest publicity in the world because, you know, by right, technically, no matter, I know there's a lot of gray areas here where people disagree or whatever your opinion is whatever, but that was easy promotion for him, easy, because I ain't heard about Kendrick in a minute. All he had to do was invite a white girl on the stage for a song he knows is about to say that word. You know, he knows the song. He knows the song better than anybody in there. He knows exactly what the chorus is.
Yeah, man. Well, here's what I find is...
Look, can I just
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't like you know, a malicious thing, maybe he just wanted to see, will she do it? You know what I mean? Will she do it?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, man. I think he was just being a little petty, man, just having some fun with it, man. But at the end of the day, the bigger conversation is the use of that word in general. You know what I mean? Some people say that it's okay. Some people say, well, I use that word as liberation from its original meaning. In the context of this particular story, though, I just kind of feel like, how can you get mad at a person who you're teaching to use that word?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's just kind of how I personally feel. You know, so I deal with a lot of musicians, and I hear that word all the time. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of feel like it's a slippery slope, man, because you talk to the older generation and the things that they fought for to not be called that word. You know what I mean? So you've got that perspective of it. I don't know, man. I just, me personally, I have biracial kids. I don't use that word in my home. Mm-hmm. You know, when I have private conversations with people that I'm extremely close with in private settings, I may joke around and use the word, but in a public setting, especially around other white folks, I don't use that word because it's just not comfortable for me. It is damn for sure not comfortable for me to hear coming out of their mouth. You know what I mean? So
that's what I was going to ask you is, how do you feel about white people saying it?
It's just uncomfortable, and I give them the same respect. I don't say that word in front of them, so I expect for them not to say it in front of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I think there's just this weird because like obviously majority of white people won't say it. You know what I mean? But there's you know those ones that push in and say no, we should be able to say it because you're allowed to say it. We should be able to say it. It's just a word. We should be able to say it. And like I understand that it's just a word, but I think it's just one of those things where you just got to take the L on it and just be like, no, we can't say it. Here's the thing, right? If we think, look, okay, so you're not allowed to say that word, but also black people aren't allowed to start their own Wall Street without getting fucking bombed.
Touche.
Right? So
Touche.
Just say it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I find this a real interesting topic, man. I'm gonna tell you a crazy story. I probably shouldn't air out my dirty ass drawers like this. So my son, you know, he's biracial, and he had one of his buddies come to the house, right? He's knocking on the window, knock, 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 knock. My nigga, man, where you at? What you got going on? And see, this is the daddy that comes out of me because I had never met this cat.
Yeah.
So he's knocking on my window. It's dark. I went, got my little toolie. I put it to his head. I know I ain't right for that. I put it to his head. And I just drilled him on using that word. You know what I'm saying? DSS, somebody gonna call DSS on my ass for that shit. I shouldn't have did that. I apologize for it, but I needed him to know, okay? If you're gonna be out here using that word, you better be prepared for somebody to try your ass on it. You feel what I'm saying?
Big time.
So,
I think if someone gives someone a pass to say it, doesn't mean that you got a universal pass, you know what I mean? Because someone will fuck you up.
real talk. I don't think I should have said that story out loud, man. I probably should have told him.
Hey, man, it's just between us and the podcast.
Yeah.
What happens on the podcast stays on the podcast. I would hope. I hope you guys ain't out there snitching.
Right.
Gossiping.
Joanne Lassiter is in the building. She says, "You're so right, Pete." Jackon Devon, he's giving smiley emojis, laughing emojis. Brian Ellis says, "I use it constantly with the homies. You have to ask, what's the fascination with wanting to be given the okay to say the word?" Very good point. Very good point. Jay Kilo's in the building. Dora Taylor says, "I've never and will never use the N-word. It's just as nasty as cussing to me. Makes my skin crawl." Okay, I can dig it. Brian Ellis says there's definitely not a universal pass. LOL. Real talk. So, it's what it is, man. How you guys feeling about that, man? Shouts out to everybody tuned in, by the way, man. We out here doing our thing. Shouts out to everybody over there on the YouTube channel watching us as well. It's what it is, man. So, DJ Scott, I'm going to give you the floor while I make these transitions. You'll do your little dance?
No, I got something with a bit more, you know. Right, so I'll just get it to you. Subscribe to the fucking YouTube, okay? It's youtube.com/Don't Stress Success. We really appreciate it. We're trying to build our audience over there through the week. We'll be posting, like, obviously not everybody wants to sit down and watch the whole 1 hour and some change that we usually record this for. So we put into bite-sized little videos for you to just go and watch and see the key and important parts. We do that on the YouTube. So that's youtube.com/Don't Stress Success. If you want a nice little summary of the topics we talked about, the funniest bits, the most interesting bits, then you better be a subscriber. You know what I mean? And eventually, you know, hopefully, we're looking to move the whole platform over there primarily, because you know how YouTube goes, how big channels can get on there, and we're hoping to do that with this. So get in early, man. And I'm sure over the next few weeks, months, and however long, we're going to be finding different incentives that we can give to the YouTube, because, you know, we appreciate people subscribing.
Indeed.
Yeah. What's the crowd saying, man? Let me catch up with the crowd, see what people are saying.
Brian Ellis says it's definitely not a universal pass. Jonathan Wizard says it's a sketchy slope. We still talk about the N-word. He says, there are a few people I know that will let me say it around them or so, but I won't publicly say it or ever use it in my music. March who Bite the Nickels in the building says, what's up? You know, I want to ask Jonathan Wizard, kind of going back to what Brian Ellis said. He says, what's the fascination with wanting to be given the okay to say the word? So I want to just kind of bounce back and forth between those two comments and ask Jonathan Wizard, you know, what makes him want to say that word? Because I find myself saying it, and honestly, I feel uncomfortable using the word unless I'm in a close setting, joking with my friends. Other than that, it's a very uncomfortable word for me. I do not use that word around other white folks. So I'm just kind of curious, you know, like you were saying, Wizard, there's a few people that you know will let you say it around them. But I'm just curious to know, going back to Brian Ellis, what's the fascination with wanting to be given the okay to say the word? Cylone Jacobs in the building. D. Goodson is also in the building, man. What it do, man? Salute to everybody tuned in.
Oh, we got Fit the Nickel in the house too, man.
Yeah, man.
What's good? I didn't realize I just seen it now. Shout out, man. Shout out Fit the Nickel, because I swear to God. And Wizard as well. Wizard's here. Brian Ellis as well. He's, you know, every week checking in for a bit of time. You know, people are really dedicating to this with us, you know, or at least, you know, popping in to see how it's going and hitting us up and shouting us out and interacting with us, because this is an interactive podcast. This isn't a shut up and let us speak type of thing.
Right.
I mean, this is you know, a dialogue. This is a conversation, one that we want to have with you guys. So any questions, if we're talking about something and you just think of something random, like, hey guys, how can I what can I do to get my song out there a bit more? Hey, if we got the time, we'll stop what we're doing and we'll get into that with you. So the more interaction we can get from you, the better we can make this podcast, the more problems we can solve. So make sure you're participating, man. We'll definitely repay with our attention.
Indeed, man. That was a great way to put it, man. That is what we are here for. Jay Kilo says, when you take the word and turn it into slang, you lose all rights to tell someone they cannot say it. If white or Hispanic people cannot say it, then it means you do not want them to buy your music if your music is full of it. Now just think, if the shoe was on the other foot, everyone would be saying it is racist, okay? Cylone Jacob says, hey P, I got a good statement. Brandon Lucky Luciano Ford is watching, and so is Mr. Sandman Ziggs Griffin. So, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's Wizard's response. He says, I don't necessarily want to say it or have a fascination with it. I feel like you said it's in a close setting, just joking and messing around with the homies. I grew up always being called it, so it was just kind of a word, was always in the vocab, okay? Lisa Seashells also in the building. Cylone Jacob says, only use the N-word if it makes sense and flows with the story. I see a lot of artists use the N-word and had nothing to do with the story they're selling in their music. Okay. I think we're kind of talking about two different things, Cylone. I think you're talking about using it in the sense of the connotation of music. We're just talking about using it in general, just, in regular conversation. But great point either way. So.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say with Jay Kilo, like I said, there's a lot of gray areas here, and I understand it is you on it, but a lot of the time it's just like Wizard was saying, how it's in a vocab, so it's hard to just stop saying things. Like when I started calling people bro, like it was a joke. I'd be like, yeah, bro, and like now I say bro after everything I say. You know what I mean? And I think generally, not just to Jay Kilo's comment, but just generally, once words are in your vocab, it's kind of like an addiction type of thing. You know what I mean? And people are gonna rap how they talk at the end of the day.
So I got a confession. I used to be in a real bad habit of calling people faggots, and it didn't have anything to do with the sexual connotation of the word, right? It just somebody pissed me off, you fucking faggot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, about 10 years ago, that was the insult, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I had to really unlearn that word because I was in a bad habit of saying it. Because at the end of the day, it's offensive to some people. You know what I mean? So I just really had to unlearn that word. And I don't call people that anymore just because I know the pain that it can cause other people unintentionally, even when you're just joking around. You know what I mean? So I think that word kind of falls into the same category. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Cylone Jacob says, no one is forcing you to use it. Only use it if you have to. Okay? Rodney J. Riley's in the building. That's what it do. But let's digress, man. We're gonna come back to this word slightly, ever so delicately. But I want to jump into the next topic, man, because I feel like for a lot of people who are out here maneuvering, trying to build brands on social media, that this is a good story to kind of follow. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this girl called Little Tay. But apparently there's a little girl, she's 9 years old. She goes by the name of Little Tay. And she's out here clout chasing. Hard. You know what I mean?
I think she caught it. I think she caught the clout.
Yeah, real talk. She's out here, got millions of subscribers. But she was on Good Morning America. And I got some news footage that I wanna show you guys. And let's just open up the discussion. And let me know how you feel about it. Let's talk about it real quick. Wow.
Good morning to you. You know, Little Tay is a 9-year-old who told me she's come here to Hollywood to pursue her dreams of being a social media star. Now, child stardom is nothing new, but her act involves cursing up a storm and even pretending to do drugs. It's raising alarm bells about good parenting. Is it exploitation? Is it borderline abusive? I spoke with Little Tay, who says it's all her idea.
Y'all saying I rent my cars?
She's the 9-year-old whose outrageous stunts and foul-mouthed bragging about luxury homes and cars she claims to own.
And now we be living in the hills. See that view? Y'all don't have that view. And I I be holding your mama's ring?
who's getting tons of notoriety and a whopping 2 million followers on Instagram. You're like a legit fan of
A legit fan.
How would you respond to critics who would say, oh, you're just going to try to profit off your daughter now?
No one's forcing me to do this. That's not true that she wants to make money off of me.
And what about those homes she claims to own? GMA talked to Mom Angie's former boss at a Vancouver real estate firm, who told us Little Tay filmed using his car and some of his properties for sale, all without his approval.
I didn't shoot in anyone else's house.
You didn't shoot in anyone else's house? Just like...
No one has proof that I did.
And who's behind the shocking content on Lil Tay's social media accounts?
My mom doesn't run social media. I use my own Instagram.
These images will live on and follow you for the rest of your life. Is a 9-year-old really capable of making this kind of decision?
This is my decision. I'm happy with what I'm doing.
We spent time with Lil Tay and her family 6 weeks after they moved from Canada to Hollywood.
I'm gonna have my name on one of these stars one day.
We were surprised to find a precocious, soft-spoken 9-year-old whose mom says she's a straight-A student. What are all the things that you do?
Swimming, skating, piano.
She is a well-mannered and a great kid.
But that's not what comes across on the internet.
People think it's like funny, I guess, because I'm 9 years old and I've accomplished so much.
I don't think a lot of people are believing that you're making millions of dollars at 9.
If they don't believe that, then I don't really care.
YouTube stars like Jake Paul are either co-opting her act or trashing it. Snoop Dogg even accusing her 16-year-old brother of coaching her.
A lot of people are going to say this and that. We just keep going.
As for her schooling,
I'm a Harvard dropout.
What city is Harvard in?
I kind of forgot because I haven't been there in a long time.
Mom says she's going to be homeschooled and has picked up at least one sponsor, with more, she says, in the works.
Y'all can get our headphones too. All y'all haters, I'm trying to make my mom proud.
You don't look very happy.
I mean, that was before, now I'm happier than before.
What's your reaction to all of the haters who are basically online bullying your daughter?
We choose just not ignore them. She has a passion and a dream.
You know, many are asking, is this legal to allow your child to do all this? Well, her mom says she's always supervising, even when Lil Tay was driving that Rolls Royce you saw. Now, there are child labor laws and rules about putting child stars' income into trust funds, but bear in mind, they're Canadians and they just moved here to Hollywood.
And Juju, I'm glad you pressed her in those questions as well. I got to tell you, I took a lot of heat at home last night from my girls for even giving Lil Tay a platform because they say that what she does online is just inappropriate.
It is inappropriate, and there are a lot of questions about whether or not she should even be on social media. Technically, you have to be 13 to open an Instagram account, and her mom says her social media is run by her management team, but there are plenty of kids all over social media doing all sorts of outrageous things who are underage, and of course, tons of parents who post their kids online.
Okay, Juju Chang, thanks very much.
Whoa. Whoa.
She needs an ass whooping, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
Really
Big time, man. You cannot be letting your kids go on like that. I don't care how successful they're becoming off the back of it, or I suppose successful is debatable, because just because you're on TV and just because you got views don't make you successful.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mention that, man, because, you know, I've talked about my son. He's got a little bit of Instagram fame. He's got like 20, 30,000 followers. And I got to check his ass sometimes, man. I'll take the phone from him quick. You know what I mean? If he just crosses the line. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you're about to have a daughter on the way. I mean, let's dig our heels into this one. I mean, you know, we all out here trying to be successful, so.
Man, she ain't going to be that, let me tell you. Oh, man. She is not going to be that.
Let's go to the comments real quick, man. Good morning to Lisa Seashell. Cornelio AZ Lowrider says, haha, that's the industry for you. They all fake. It's just for show, so they look for anything to get attention. Jacqueline Bennett says, great stuff, gives it a thumbs up, man. I want to know how you guys feel about this topic right here, man, because it's really deep. Because I feel like people are willing in this day and age to do whatever it takes to gain traction for their brands. And I just don't know, man. I don't know if that's necessarily the way to go or what, man. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe it works for some people, but the question that I ask myself anytime I do anything on social media, is this something that 10 years from now I'd be ashamed of? You know what I mean? Or would I be ashamed to let my 6-year-old see it when she turns like 15? Is she going to be embarrassed of me when I do it? And I don't think that people are thinking for the longevity of what it is. I think they're just living in the moment right now. And let me hurry up and try to get my clout up. I don't know, man. Martu Bite the Nickel says, I wouldn't advise to do that, but I'll say if it works, don't try to fix it. Like if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Anthony Ashby says, you're all out here trying to be successful instead of working hard. Very true. Great point, Anthony. I like that one. Josh Connolly's in the building. So, what's your deep introspective on this one, DJ Scott?
It's just, it does. It works. Clearly, it works. In a sense of publicity, yeah, you get some publicity for that shit. But that could be easy. You can just do the most fucked up shit. Like we were saying last week, the school shooters, man, they're getting famous off one move. You know what I mean? You could remember the girl. I don't know if you remember the girl who ate a tampon.
Oh shit! What? I ain't hear this one. The girl ate a tampon. What?
Her own used tampon. She ate it on camera and blew up on YouTube.
Wow.
And then you got, I don't know if you ever seen that girl, American girl, who pretends to be really fucking stupid. And she's like, I'm trying to think of the videos. They were so dumb, they just made me numb to what she was actually saying. But it's just like, you can pretend to be stupid, you can do fucked up shit, and you can go viral if the right people see it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it just comes back to, is that really success? At the end of the day, because like you say, she's gonna regret that shit one day, or if she doesn't, God, she is the devil. You know what I mean? Or something.
Well, Jonathan Wizard makes a great comment. He says, "I feel indifferent here. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Age is the only thing that really makes us question any of this. If she were older, we'd be okay with it and brush it off. If what we just saw is true." She's well-mannered at home and getting good grades, then maybe she's not as bad as it all seems in the forefront. Yeah. Cornelio AZ Lowrider says 2 girls in a cup blew up as well.
Yes, it did.
Oh, that's the one where they took a shit in a cup.
Yeah, but I got this theory that I think that it's just chocolate ice cream. But it looks,
Say what's your theory one more time?
I got a theory that it was just chocolate ice cream.
Oh, okay, with the 2 chicks. I got you.
Yeah, but, the places that the chocolate ice cream is coming from is enough to make you think it ain't that.
Right.
But yeah, that getting spread on the internet, right place, right time, right content can be easy.
Very true.
But I've always said it, man, like being viral ain't no good to no one who ain't ready to maintain. You know what I mean? There's so many people that, like, you see it all the time, like rap videos, for example. Someone who's spitting a freestyle in a car, or even look at Slim Jesus. Where's he at now?
Right, good point.
You know what I mean? These people aren't necessarily ready for what's going to happen. If you've got a solid movement that's already, converting fans, that's already making you money, then the viral thing is just more traffic. Traffic to something that's already built, instead of like traffic that comes to your page and it's just like, right, now what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where's the process that's ready for people,
Yeah. Jonathan Wizard says, you're correct. A lot of people are doing whatever it takes, and I feel like that's kind of what we need nowadays. Simply because old traditions aren't working anymore, we have to change and do new crazy things. Otherwise, it's just boring. Cornelia AZ Lowrider says, LMAO. Pookster Scott is in the building, man. He says, way too much drinking last night. I made it in, though. What up? What it do, Pookster? Get over that hangover, man. Julius Bailey's also in the building. Salute. So, we got a lot of, in my opinion, dumbass kids out here, man. Let's jump into this next topic. This has to do with a 30-year-old whose parents had to sue him to get out their home. Shouts out to the O, man. The O is in the building, man. What it do, man? You said you can catch him tonight at 787 to invite me to come through. That's what it do, baby. That Memorial Day party on. I feel you, brother. Yeah. So,
Yeah, this guy, man.
how old were you when you moved out your crib from underneath your parents?
Me, the first time, I think, I don't know, like 20. Went back for a bit. In and out a few times where I fucked up in life, you know?
Yeah. I was 18 when I moved out.
Okay.
Got the hell on. I don't understand why anybody would want to stay with their parents that damn long. That's what befaffles me. But okay. Charlemagne the God has given this guy Donkey of the Day. Let's jump into it.
Yes. The Breakfast Club, bitches. Who's Donkey of the Day today? Listen, Donkey of the Day for Friday, May 25th goes to Michael Rotundo. Now, if you don't know who Michael Rotundo is, he's a 30-year-old man who clearly has never heard such motivating records like TLC No Scrubs, where T-Bar's Left Eye and Chili told young men they don't want no scrubs. A scrub is a man who can't get no love from them. Okay, hanging out the passenger side of their best friend's ride. I did not want to be that guy in the passenger side, okay? When Rosonda Thomas said, oh, if you live at home with your mama, oh, yes, boy, I'm talking to you, it sent chills up my spine. I knew at that point I couldn't live at home with my mama no more, because you can't get chicks that look like Chili, you know, with the natural baby hairs if you live home with your mom, okay? When Outkast and Goody Mob told me you need to get up, get out, and get something, don't let the days of your life pass by. You need to get up, get out, and get something, because you and I got to do for you and I. When I heard that record, my rusty butt knew I had to get up and get out of my mama house. And who can forget Jay-Z Can I Live,
You
okay?
said rusty butt?
Shut up, okay? Stop worrying about my butt this morning, okay? And who can forget Jay-Z Can I Live? One line let me know I can't live with my mama no more. And that line was, I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. And living in your mama house past a certain age is living dormant, okay? See, Michael Rotundo is 30 years old and still lives at home with his parents. In fact, not only does he live at home with his parents had to sue him, okay, to get him evicted from their house. Okay, real quick around the room, can we play a game of guess what race it is? Okay, real quick around the room. Envy, 30-year-old man gets sued by parents to get him evicted from their home. What race is that individual?
White.
Angela Yee, 30-year-old man gets sued by parents to get him evicted from their home. What race is that individual?
Caucasian.
White people. White people. I see white people. What's wrong with you? Let's go to CBS News for the report.
In court documents obtained by ABC News, Mark and Christina Rotundo claim they have given their son Michael 5 written notices telling him he must leave their house immediately and will not be allowed to return, even offering him $1,100 so he could find a place to stay, along with advice on how to make money, like selling his stereo and tools.
P.S. Matthew McConaughey at least had a job selling boats on the weekend, whether he was successful or not. He had a job. This guy does not.
But Michael argues his parents' attempts to remove him from his home are retaliatory and that the notices did not provide him reasonable time to vacate.
I think the courts are going to side with the parents and tell Michael to take the pat and turner, pat the street and turn the corner. Get out.
So the Rotundos say in court documents that not only has their son refused to contribute to household expenses and assist with chores, he is, quote, disrespectful. Little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems.
Have to go to court over that one.
Let's talk about it. Anthony Ashby's in the building. Says come back to work. It comes back to working hard. These parents never made them. They aren't the only parents out here making their kids do nothing. Everyone thinks they're going to get rich quick. These parents, though, the problem, they created them. Hey, I can't say I disagree. Jacqueline Gaddis says it really depends on the situation. Keith Light says, what it do, Martu? What's the biz? So let's really talk about this, because the name of this podcast is called the Don't Stress Success Podcast.
Man,
obviously, this gentleman is really, really, really stressing success, man.
I don't know if he is. I don't think he's stressing about what he is now, but he didn't seem like he was stressing about nothing, man. 'Cause here's my thing, right? And I agree completely with Jacqueline where she said it depends on the situation. Now, if he's at home but he's out working and he's hustling and he's grinding and he's trying to work out of that situation. That's one thing. But I'm getting the vibe that this guy's just sitting in his boxers, dirty ass boxer shorts, playing video games. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I'm picking up just from looking at this guy, and I shouldn't judge a book by his cover, but it looks that way. It kind of reminds me of on The Hangover, Alan. On The Hangover.
Oh yeah.
where
That's exactly who he looks like too.
They're all growing up and getting married and living their lives or whatever, and like they're meeting to go on this what's it called, bachelor party, and they pick him up from his parents' house, and he's in his room and he's got a man cave and they're in their 30s and all that kind of shit. And have you seen The Wedding Crashers as well with Will Ferrell?
I haven't seen The Wedding Crashers, man.
Will Ferrell's like this sex and relationship guru.
Okay.
And someone tells their friend, "Oh, go see him," and he's living in his mum's house, and he's like, "Ma, more meatloaf." Shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, it does depend on the situation, you know what I mean? Like, because throughout the years, I've had to, where I've taken risks and I've tried to do it big, and I've fallen from graces, so to speak, and I've needed somewhere to go, you know what I mean? I've always gone there, but it's never been a right, this is me now, kind of thing, you know what I mean? It was just like right, we'll give you some time to get your shit together, because God willing, had the luxury to do that shit.
Right.
Not everybody has that luxury, but
Very
you
true.
don't.
I know. I've
sued.
Yeah. That's crazy. I would never let it get to the point to where my parents feel like they gotta sue me to get out. I mean,
what is that?
I'm blaming the parents on that one, though. I mean, I think we've all had to move back home at some point in time to get a little bit of help, and I'm fine with that. But nobody gets a free ride, buddy. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Man, to the point where like they must have just said to him, right, we had enough, you gotta go. No, I'm not going, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah, man. So Keith Light says, "Me too, Martu, power nap." I don't know what that convo was about. Pookster Scott says, "I think he was just sitting around the house doing nothing. That's why they're trying to kick him out." Very true. Jonathan Wizard says, "A lot of parents, I think, don't enforce and make their kids work. So how can they be mad when this happens?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I also, interestingly, like in a lot of cultures, there's like I know in a lot of Islamic cultures, because there's lots of different because Islam is spread over so many countries, it's different cultures, obviously, and a lot of them, what happens is when two people get married, like they'll have an arranged marriage, and the wife will then move in with the husband, and they'll move in with the husband's parents, so they can all contribute to the house, and it allows them to save and get their own place and not have to struggle. They're like, right, they built for this, and there's a lot of cultures around the world that do that, but this is not the case, obviously here.
Nah.
This is not the case.
Pookster Scott says, "LMAO, that trumpet sounded so bad." That's the Price is Right trumpet. Whenever you lose on the Price is Right, this is what you get. There it is. So, DJ Scott, man, how you feeling, man?
Good, man. I want some more comments from people. That's what I want. I really want to bounce off what people are saying. So we got 18 people watching live now. I want to see, or 17. I want to see 17 comments, man, from 16 different people now.
Hey, just say what's up.
What's good, people? I want to get more thoughts on this, because I think that this could get hilarious if the right people comment the right shit. So what do people say? Oh, I'll tell you what. When did you guys move out of your parents' houses? I know Jonathan Wizard said he was 17.
Who else is out there? Everybody I can shy to comment, man. But it's all love, though. I told my son the other day that if he doesn't have anything going on when he finishes high school, he got to join the military. Gotta move the fuck out and go. You know what I mean?
I bet that put some pace on him, man.
Yeah, I don't really want him to go in the military, though. I really don't, man. I'm kind of scared of that. But speaking of the military, man, we've got this whole thing with the NFL, man, let's jump into that conversation real quick. Trump said some stuff about if you are not standing for the national anthem, that you should be kicked out of the country. You know, we have a very special president over here in the U.S., man. I'm curious to know, man, out there in the U.K., man, what's the general consensus about Trump?
The same thing the whole world thinks, man. There ain't no other way to see the guy. You know what I mean? It's not like we see anything that you don't from him. You know,
Right.
it's all the same media and all the same. Everyone thinks the same thing. What an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I do have, like, in certain areas a little bit of respect. You can't just, like, he's a bad egg, full stop. Yeah, he's a bit of an idiot in some of the stuff he says and does. But, you know, he knows how to make money. Your economy has improved. You know?
Well, this is what I got to
good
say
with the bad.
about the economy improving. I think that previous presidents do a lot. And when new presidents get into office, they're able to ride off of the success of what has been built the previous 4 years or the previous 8 years. And I can't really say that Trump has caused the economy to be doing a lot better. I just think that a lot of the stuff that happened the previous 8 years set it on track to be doing better in the 9th and 10th year. You know what I mean? So that's kind of really how I feel about that. And when you really break down all of the policies, I mean, he's so busy fighting border walls. Like, what does he really, really accomplish? You know what I mean? Other than spreading a lot of hate. So with that being said, I kind of want to jump through exactly what it was that he said about NFL players. And I really, really want to talk about this because there's a lot of mixed reactions, man. I have a lot of friends of mine who are conservative, right-wing people. I have other friends of mine who are left-wing, less conservative, more liberal. And I feel like if it's one thing that this president has done is successfully divide people.
Oh, yeah,
So,
exactly.
Let me just run through what he had to say. And also Stephen A. Smith from ESPN said a really great piece that I would like to jump into. Let's talk about it.
Some breaking news while you were in there. The NFL has made a decision on something that means a lot to you and a lot of other Americans. The NFL the owners have voted unanimously to approve a new national anthem rule that says if you're not going to stand, stay in the locker room. If you go to the field, you have to stand. If you have a protest, your team's going to get fined. This is the first time you're hearing this. What's your reaction, Mr. President?
Well, I think that's good. I don't think people should be staying in locker rooms, but still, I think it's good. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. And the NFL owners did the right thing if that's what they've done.
If that is the story, do you feel like you push this story forward and you push this to a conclusion?
I think the people pushed it forward. This was not me. I brought it out. I think the people pushed it forward. This country is very smart. We have very smart people. And, you know, that's something ideally could have been taken care of when it first started. It would have been a lot easier. But if they did that, they're doing the right thing.
Should the NFL be afraid of our president?
Yes, they should. Yes, they should. And it's exactly what I alluded to yesterday talking to Will and Max Kellerman. And one of the things that's dicey about this discussion at times is that, you know, obviously it's a highly sensitive issue and, you know, we all have our opinions or whatever, but we're not necessarily disagreeing in what should be done. We just need to talk about what's actually happening and what the reality is as it pertains to the impact. The president, whether you like it or not, whether you like him or not, is the president of the United States of America. Over 62 million people voted for this man. And when you have the power that he has and you have the influence that he has, you have the ability to hijack an issue like the Colin Kaepernick protest and turn it into something that it was not about, turn it into an issue of patriotism. He successfully hijacked the issue. And he targeted the NFL, a group of owners, a cadre of individuals, a league that would not let him into their good old boys club, per se. I spoke to him in 2014, as I've said on numerous occasions. And the man at that time said to me, you know what, I want to own the Buffalo Bills. I want to buy this team. If they don't let me in, hell, I might run for president. I'll get their behinds back then. And years later, what happened? He targeted the NFL owners. We've had owners who are friends of his who absolutely positively believe he targeted them simply because he has the ability to influence a constituency and let them know how he feels. And as a result, I'm not saying they don't have their own feelings, that their feelings are dictated per se by him, but they certainly feel comfortable in the license that they have to express what they feel, regardless of how it's absorbed by a vast majority of Americans out there. And as a result, they made the NFL pay in some way. So when you take this situation into account and you look at what's transpiring, they had better hope that the president of the United States doesn't turn around and start complaining about those players again when they're not coming out for the national anthem, when instead they're waiting inside the locker room until the national anthem is being played, and then they come running out onto the field. Because the second he makes that a focal point of his argument, so will his constituency and millions of others, I might add. And as a result, this new ruling by the National Football League, which appears bogus on its face, will ultimately reap the consequences of its actions. Because bottom line is that you engaged in paid patriotism from dating back to 2008, 2009. That's why you had to institute this rule, because you didn't have the rule in place in the first place. In college, like Notre Dame and other universities, you've got teams that literally wait until the national anthem is played before they come out onto the field. If you had that in place before, you wouldn't have this problem. But because you didn't have the foresight, and because you were compromised, because you engaged in paid patriotism, as Senator John McCain pointed out years ago, you now find yourself in this precarious situation trying to wiggle your way out of it. And the president of the United States himself may be the one who dictates whether or not it actually works.
That's deep convo coming from Stephen A. Smith right there, man. Real deep, man. So the bigger question is Trump bullying the NFL based on the fact that they wouldn't allow for him to purchase a team? That's the real meat and potatoes of this right now, and that's what I really want to jump into, man. Let's go to the comments real quick and see how people are out here interpreting this, all right? Pooster Scott says, yeah, with Trump, it's pretty scary, especially how he's handling this nuclear weapon situation with North Korea. I don't agree with a lot of his choices. Jonathan Wizard says the Jets owner said he would pay the team fine if his team protests. That's dope. Cornelia AZ Lowrider says they're building a wall to keep everyone in. They want to bring martial law to the U.S. Just look at the laws they're passing and want to pass, like the gun laws. They want to take guns away from Americans. Why? Martial law. Okay, that's a thought. Martu Bite the Nickel said he's a Cheeto guy with a fake toupee. They can't speak worth shit.
Conversation done.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been a wonderful.
Yeah, they about to ban us for these comments, right? Cornelia AZ Lowrider says, doesn't the state of defense sponsor the NFL? If that's the case, then they are the reason for Trump's comments. Trump is just a puppet for the conglomerates. Okay. Jason Vincent is in the building. Salute to him. Pooster Scott says Trump should be more focused on more serious topics we have other than being focused on who stands for the national anthem. I agree, man. Keith Light says, I don't respect Cheetos. Cornelia AZ Lowrider says the people are the problem, it's your government. All right. Jason Batista is in the building, and so is Allison Gibson. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. So, you are all the way in another country, DJ Scott. So what is your perspective based off of what you just heard, and especially talking about what Stephen A. Smith had to say? Because I never thought about it from that perspective before.
I just think they're doing everything they can to avoid that conversation. You know what I mean? They're doing everything that they can to not address the fact that, people are dying, people of color are dying, and it's not getting, talked about in the right context on mainstream media or by the president or by anybody, with that kind of power.
Right.
You know what I mean? They it's just always like, they're just telling people, don't worry about those people dying because these people are dying for your freedom and shit. They just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but they're still dying. You know what I mean? And things ain't being done about it. I don't know, man. It's just talking in circles. It's just the same when they first started doing it. You know, and I read something the other day about can't remember the name, can't remember the team. I apologize, but there was a white player that kneeled for something, and the whole nation was like, oh, what was it for? It was for shit. And this was like 10 years ago, maybe more. A white player kneeled for, I don't know if it was some kind of illness or some kind of disease or some event. But like the whole nation was like, oh, how inspirational.
Oh, you're talking about my man that he took a knee for praying. And he would pray before every game. I can't remember his name either. That's who it was.
This is something different. This was for a cause.
Ah, okay.
This was for like kneeled against the national anthem because of something. I can't remember, and I apologize because I should have, remembered that. But the whole nation, and I will find out when we'll talk about it next week or whatever. Maybe someone in the audience knows, hopefully. But the whole nation over there was applauding the guy for doing it. Oh, what a righteous cause. You know what I mean?
I want to jump to one of the comments real quick. Brian Conley's in the building. He says, I watch football to watch football, not to be fed more politics on whatever issue. Sunday's my day to kick back and enjoy football, not political issues. What up, P? What up, Brian Conley, man? Listen, I appreciate Tim Tebow. That's what Brian Conley was saying. But I want to address that because that seems to be like the generic answer that I always get every time this subject is brought up, right? And so my perspective on it is this isn't about bringing politics to interrupt your football. This is about trying to bring a conversation about injustices that are clearly being ignored, right? And so what happens is when you have a large platform, sometimes the only way that you can wake people up is to slap them in the face during the football game that they are self-absorbed in. Because you're not out here talking about it in the streets. A lot of people just, they blatantly ignore it. Oh, I don't watch the news. I don't, there's so much bad stuff going on. I don't even really care. And that's where I feel is the major issue. The lack of empathy. I feel like Americans have become so self-absorbed to where injustices are happening all around us, not just to black and brown people, but injustices that is happening to everybody, and people just are ignoring it, kind of like that ostrich that sticks his head in the ground. You know what I mean? And that's the part that breaks my heart, because the conversation shouldn't be about whether or not he's disrespecting the flag or whether or not it's bringing politics into football. How about it being simply the mere fact that people are getting killed at an alarmed rate by police?
Yeah.
The end.
And regardless of what they do, whether people kneel, whether people hold up traffic, whatever people do, you don't say, at the end of the day, they're doing it for a reason. There's a cause. You know what I mean? It's not for nothing. Like, when Black Lives Matter started coming around, and whether people agree with the movement or not, like how are you gonna? All right, can you guys shut the fuck up about your people dying here? There's more important stuff going on. No, there's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like what did Joyner Lucas say in that racism song where he's like, White Lives Matter is a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that?
Whoo! White Lives Matter is a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that? Real talk, man.
I don't like to. It's not about sides.
Yeah,
it's just about facts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Pooksa Scott says that I think people should use their platform to voice their opinions. It reaches more people using their platforms. Keith Light says, I'm watching my Saints regardless. Damn all that. LeBron Baker says, #Colin Kaepernick. That's what it is. Jason Vincent says, when you have thousands of people watching you, use your standing to bring awareness to issues that are otherwise looked past. It's the same with musicians and actors. They always get flack for speaking up, but when was the last time one of you did and had that many people listen?
Right.
Great
hey,
point.
Man, people are already watching that. You know, and people are like, there's millions and millions of people already plugged into that, and like I was saying earlier, they don't talk about it in the right context on mainstream media. So the only way you're gonna get on mainstream media is to ambush people with it.
Right.
You know, remember that guy you run in? What was it? I think it was a football press conference. I'm not 100% sure though. That guy they're running, and he said, "Investigate 9/11. You've been lied to."
Yeah, shouts out to Jesse Ventura, man. That might be who you're talking about. I'm not sure. But Jay Florio says, agreed. Only people with platforms can reach the masses. The guy at the store can't do it. If he loses that platform, he still has the voice that started the movement and can continue using it. His movement is greater than his career. And that's real. I mean, I think about Muhammad Ali. I mean, Muhammad Ali really, really stood for injustice. He felt like he shouldn't be forced to have to go fight a war for a country that, here we are still talking about the same damn injustices 50, 60 years later. You know what I mean? And so he lost his boxing license. He sacrificed his career to stand up for a cause that he believed in. And I think it's just like that old saying, man, stand for something or fall for anything. You know what I mean? That's just what it is, man.
I wonder where things will be 100 years from now, because obviously there's people doing things now, the government's holding a certain stance, but at the end of the day, the way things are going, the whole world's going to end up brown in the next 1,000 years.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just where there's so much mixing, and everyone's just going to end up being like a golden color.
Yeah.
Then racism might end, and then they'll just find something else.
But you know what I think it's going to take for racism to end? I think it's going to take for a bunch of aliens to come and invade us. And I say that jokingly, but I'm so serious. Because imagine if aliens were coming and killing all humans off. Yeah. You mean to tell me I'm not going to join up with this person who's over here in Al-Qaeda with all the guns? You know what I mean? Come on. I'm putting all of my differences aside for this common threat. And I feel like that's kind of the sad place that we're at right now, man.
And you know what the funniest thing is, man? We've already all got that common enemy.
Yeah.
We've already got the same fucking enemy, guys. And you know, if you do your research and you stay switched on, you know who those enemies are, man. And we already got that. But they got us fighting over what sex you are, where you like to put your dick.
Right.
Where you know what I mean? Like what color you are, who you pray to. They got us fighting over all that shit, and they're laughing. They're like, "Oh, you guys fighting over all those petty shit that run through our media channels to get you hyped up and arguing about when you should be killing us."
Real talk. You put the tin hat on? Come on, put the tin hat on.
I keep forgetting. I got to, man. I've got to. I will eventually. Next episode, man. I'm gonna get it set up for that shit.
I feel you, man. I feel you. So let's go to the crowd real quick. Jay Florio says beige. That's how everybody's gonna be beige in 1,000 years from now.
Man. You're gonna get your little pockets of society. The biggest demographic is gonna be like, if you did the DNA test, it's gonna be like 1% everything.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, it's damn near already that way. You do a DNA, it's no person is a pure race. You got all of these what are they called? Aryan Nation people that just want to have a pure white race. There's no such thing, man. I'm sorry, man.
Have you ever seen like episodes of Jerry Springer and shit where you get like a neo-Nazi? You'll be on there talking about I hate this race, I hate that race. They do a DNA test and he finds out he's 2% sub-Saharan African. No.
Yeah, man. Jay Florio says, yep, because aliens are green. Yeah, he says we'll band together because if the aliens came, then they're green. I got it.
And they're just going to vaporize us all anyway, man.
Right.
Super duper pew pew laser guns.
Right. Jason Vincent says, exactly, and that's why I disagree with you, Pete. We already have our common enemy and we still fight ourselves. Very true. Jason Wizard says, that's what's crazy. You just said about it takes something bad to happen. Like I live in Houston and we had that Hurricane Harvey last year. We all came together and worked together. But as soon as we were good, everyone went back to staying apart from each other. Very good point, man.
So you good, bro? You good? Yeah, you good? Well, fuck you.
Yeah. Keith Light says, I love all people. It's all about respect. Very true. Right. Very true, man. So,
content and character for me, man. I don't care who you are, I don't care where you put your dick, I don't care what color you are, who you pray to, I don't care none about it. You cool? cool.
That's what it is, man. Salute to Marty Haferman, man. I appreciate you tuning in, man. So we're going to completely switch gears for a moment. I know we've been talking about a lot of controversial stuff in the news, a lot of crazy ass topics, man. That's what we do here. But we also like to try to educate. We know that a lot of our a lot of our audience are artists, musicians. So that's the background that I come from. That's the background that DJ Scott comes from. So we wanted to take a moment and talk to you guys real quick about a really dope service that we discovered, okay? It's a service called amuse.io. And in my personal opinion, I think that they're about to really, really reinvent some things as far as how the music industry is done, all right? So this particular company is the first online music distribution company. And what is really dope about them, I feel, is the mere fact that they don't charge you for it. So their end game is just to, in a nutshell, find talent. That's their end game. And they do it by helping you. So it kind of goes back to that word reciprocity, right? And so what they do is they offer you free music distribution and give you a chance to get discovered. Now, what's really nice about this particular company is that it's backed by Will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas. It's a lot of really dope individuals that are really backing this company. You know, if you go to their website, amuse.io, spelled AMUSE.io, then you can really take a good dig into what all they have going on. And I'm gonna just read from their website exactly why it's free. They said some people might think that this sounds too good to be true, but let's explain why it's not. The model is simple. They're a record company that offers free music distribution to independent artists around the world. Everything is free and 100% of the royalties go to the artists. If we discover artists we believe in, we will offer them a record deal that includes marketing, financing, promotion, and playlist pitching. We pay for the project, but thereafter we split the profits 50-50 with the artists. That's how we make money, and that's how we're able to make distribution free of charge. If offered a record deal, there's no obligation to sign with us. Within their app, they've had a much harder time finding those magical music makers to potentially sign. That's why it's free. It's a win-win situation. So salute to amuse.io. Found this service and just really wanted to pass it along to you guys because, like I said, a lot of our audience out there, they are musicians, and you're always looking for the next thing that can really help you out. So I think this is a winner right here. I would like to reach out to some of the people who are backing Amuse, see if we can get them on to the show to really break down and elaborate what their platform is about and taking it from there. So DJ Scott, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I like it, man. I think it leaves people without excuses. You know, all the ones that like, I can't afford this and I haven't got a budget and stuff like that. This is the best option. Now, if you've got a lot of money behind you, you might want to take a different route, you know, depending on, or maybe you don't. But if you don't have a budget, you don't have money, there's your distribution. Okay, they take 50-50, but you didn't put no money down. You're not paying a monthly membership or nothing, you know. And there's no reason why people shouldn't be, in today's age, there's no reason why everybody shouldn't be on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Pandora, all of them.
Yeah, absolutely,
you know?
man. And the thing that I find really interesting is they kind of really make you put your talent where your mouth is, right?
Yeah.
So you register on their platform, download the app, upload your music, and if you're doing genuine numbers, then they're going to take notice to it, and you could potentially be offered a deal. A lot of artists, I think, get stuck on themselves, and they think that they're hot because the people around them are telling them that they're hot. They ain't not really making any moves, and numbers aren't showing otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think this is a great opportunity for artists to really, really have a platform that will allow you to put your talent where your mouth is. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, man.
Definitely. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Absolutely. So it's what it is, man. It's what it is, man. It's about that time. DJ Scott, how you out there feeling, baby?
Good, man. I just love this. Every week, this is my thing that I look forward to every week. I tell my girlfriend, no, she'd be like, oh, let's go do this. And no, not a Sunday. Podcast.
Yeah.
Going down.
Real quick, I want to kind of jump through some of the comments there talking about amuse.io. Jay Florio says, thanks for the info. I hadn't heard of them, something to look into, but maybe interview people that have used the service so there's nobody there trying to sell it. Okay, maybe we get both. Maybe we get a representative from the company to come on to the show and we get a user of their platform. That way we can have an unbiased opinion about it. That sounds great. Jonathan Wizard says, that makes sense. And he also says, I've been curious about Amuse. I keep seeing it, and they say it's free and you keep 100% of the royalties. I've been wondering how that works. Jason Vincent says, big salute. That's a major move for the industry. I really hope people take the opportunity and run with it. So that's what it is. Rob Bodden is in the building. Dave Haynes is also in the building. I appreciate y'all tuning in and checking it out. But yeah, man, it's about that time, man.
No doubt. And for anybody who's missed any of the show and you want to catch up, but you don't want to go through everything, make sure to subscribe. YouTube.com Don't Stress Success / Don't Stress Success. Make sure you go there, subscribe, because I'll be chopping up videos and uploading them all week of the highlights and the most important and the funniest and the most interesting parts. So be there or be oblong.
Indeed, man. You can see the link scrolling down below us. And for the Don't Stress Success podcast, I am PThePolitician.
I am Daniel J. Scott. And the way my light's set up, I'm just looking now. It makes it look like my eyebrow. My one eyebrow is like, but it's just a shadow, I swear.
You got a unibrow over there. You growing a unibrow?
It's looking like it, man. It's the lighting. I swear.
Don't stress success, DJ Scott. It's all good.
Yeah.
We are out.
Hey.